Yeah.
Well, good morning. Sambo on Saturday. This is another segment where we are showcasing businesses in and around the town of Gawler. Now, it's great today. We're here at Physio Active, which is just over the Williston Bridge on the main street of actual Williston itself. And we're here today with David and Jamie.
Thank you.
David, Jamie.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you very much for showing me around the complex here today. And these segments are actually brought to the Facebook and readers and that sort of thing by the Gawler Business Development Board, so that we can sort of, as I said before, showcase the point of the businesses that are in this community. And certainly we're very, very proud of the businesses that are established and set up here. But what I'd like to ask you, maybe start with you, Jamie, how long have you actually been involved in healthcare and the amount of work you do here?
Yeah, sure. So David and I went to uni together, and we started working at the end of 2006 in Gawler for old business owner of a physio clinic at the hospital there, at Gawler Health Service. And after 12 months, he decided to sell up shop, so we took over. So since then, we've kind of just grown year by year. We started off at the Gawler Health Service, providing inpatient, outpatient services for the hospital too, and doing some private work as well. And then from there, like I said, yeah, we just got bigger and bigger sort of each year. And we took over another site around 2010, I think it was. So another site on Adelaide Road, and we wanted to sort of expand our sort of private base. And then from there, again, we just got busier and busier each year to the point where we decided to take the plunge and buy this block of land and build the injury hub now, so that we could bring in a whole bunch of other services. So we're now 3 years in here, and yeah, so we've been sort of cruising along since then.
Yeah, no, that's great. And David, by way of staff, I mean, it's so important that what you both have built up, and like I say, you're now called the Injury Hub, and there's a lot of people that have been involved with sports or accidents or whatever it may be. So how many people do you actually employ, and is it hard to get the staff that you require?
Yeah, initially it was. So when Jamie and I first started out in 2006, we found it really hard to get staff to come to Gawler and get high quality physios. And then as we developed, I guess, as a business and as physiotherapists, it then started to change where physios were then contacting us. And so now we do find it easier to get physios and high quality staff to come to Gawler because of the facilities we've got. And it snowballs because we've got highly experienced physios. Some physios have been, to the Olympics, and we've got titled physios. And so now we've got people approaching us, which is really good. So we've got now 15 physiotherapists here, and then we've got 6 admin staff. But then also, which we might talk about a bit later, about the Injury Hub, we then house other specialists. So we've got sports doctors, orthopaedic surgeon, neurosurgeon, exercise physiologists, dietitians, and so they all come as part of the Injury Hub. So yeah, we're over 20 staff now, and yeah, it's going really well.
That's certainly great, and what you've got here. What would be the most common injury, or the customer coming in here for?
We get it's a good question, but we get a wide variety of patients. So because our physios are quite experienced in different areas, we see a wide variety. So we've got physios that mainly deal with work injuries. We've got physios that do paediatrics, disabilities, sports injuries, post-op surgery. And so I guess with that, we see a variety of injuries. Yeah, yeah. I mean, back pain and neck pain are certainly the most common.
I think if you sort of go to most physio clinics, a lot of what they would see is back and neck pain, but because we've got physios that sort of specialise in certain areas, we have a lot of other things as well, like your sports injuries and so forth. And we get a lot of referrals in for sort of post-op rehab and a whole bunch of different things. So we've got women's health physios here, and like David said, paediatric physios, and David himself does a lot of sort of chronic pain work, so lots of sort of chronic pain and work cover type injuries and that sort of stuff as well. So we actually get quite a broad range of injuries, and that was kind of the vision when we sort of came to the injury hub or designed the injury hub is we wanted to bring in all these other specialists so that we could sort of increase the clientele and the market that we were seeing. So we didn't want people, if they felt like they needed something a bit more specialised, they didn't have to go to town. Gawler has that service here now. So if you need an orthopaedic surgeon or a neurosurgeon, we have that comes here once a month as well. And then we've got the physios who are quite experienced in those types of areas that you're getting just as good quality care here as you can in Adelaide. And like David said, a lot of our physios are quite experienced, and we have titled physios that have gone and done specialised training as well. So we kind of got everything here under the one roof so that people don't have to go to Adelaide, or people from outside of Gawler can just come into Gawler. So that was the vision. And yeah.
And Jamie, you also have a set up at Kapunda as well that you have for clients
so
in
just
and around that area?
just a bit of a satellite clinic, I guess. So one of our physios is out there just one day a week, just in the medical clinic out there. So so just a bit of a satellite clinic. We used to have one at Riverton as well, but since we've kind of increased our size here in Gawler, we find people just coming in here now anyway. So
for sure. Yeah. And David, regarding knee injuries, I mean, we hear so much, and certainly a lot of my mates have had trouble with knees and things. Is that be able to be handled here with you here?
Yeah, certainly.
Rehabilitation?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we love seeing knee injuries, and we treat them quite well because the latest evidence shows that it's about the conservative management, which is essentially physiotherapy and exercises. And as Jamie was saying, we've got a lot of experienced physios that deal with sports and musculoskeletal injuries with the knees. And so Jamie actually runs a knee class, which you can probably talk about. Yeah, so like we said before, we've got physios that kind of specialise in certain areas, and knee injuries is kind of one of my areas that I like to treat and kind of have a bit of an interest in, especially ACL injuries. So we run like an ACL rehab class. So quite an increased amount of those injuries that we've seen over the last few years, and that's something that we were seeing a lot of people going to town for because they're thinking they needed specialised physio, which you kind of do because the rehab for an ACL injury is quite lengthy and time consuming, and if done properly the outcomes can be really good. If not done properly, the outcomes aren't so good. So that's sort of one of my areas of interest, and we run classes sort of based on getting people back to sport in the later stage of their rehab as well, which is going really well.
I think that's what you've emphasised a couple of times about not having to go out of Gawler or the district here. I mean, you know, like Gawler itself, you know, we cater for 85,000 people, the last survey that was done, per day in this town. And with a population of 24,000 people, and then being able to cater for that, and certainly know that with traffic when you try to drive around Gawler or get a car park spot, and it's so good. And once people get to know who you are, word of mouth will keep coming back and gaining. Is there anything like about working here, both of you? I mean, you're busy people, you're fit, you're a lot fitter than me, and that sort of thing. But what's your favourite part about being here?
I think it's just the facility. So, you know, we've got this great gym facility here, and it's got all the equipment that you need. It's, you know, on site, and so you could see your patient and, you know, might show them some exercises, and then you can actually take them into the gym and show them those correct exercises. They can then use the gym here as well as part of their rehab. And so that's what I love the most, is just having the facilities here that we get to use, which is great.
Yeah, and I guess being part of the community as well. Most of our staff are from this area or surrounding areas. David's from Kapunda originally and lives out Templars, and I live in Gawler as well. And like David said before, a lot of our staff are actually come from within Gawler. So what we would hope is we're actually providing employment opportunities for people living in this area as well, without having to go to town thinking that they need something a bit more specialised.
And COVID's been something that we don't like to talk about, but Gawler's been very lucky, and so has South Australia been very lucky. But has it actually made people more conscious about the point of caring for themselves?
Yeah, no, I agree. We actually we were quiet initially, you know, as a lot of businesses were hit with that unknown. But then once people were, I guess, settled and we sort of knew a bit more about it and the situation, we actually found that we were very busy. And I think part of that was because people were putting their health first, and going, all right, well, you know, life is short, and so put yourself first and come in. And so we were seeing a lot of people after that time, sort of mid-year onwards, just prioritising their health and coming in, which was great to see, because that's what we're all about, is that people get living healthily, get the health outcomes. So yeah,
I think a lot of people working from home as well, they were kind of then a little bit more flexible in terms of going and to appointments and so forth. So but then that sort of brought challenges as well. So seeing people with, I guess, posture-related pain from working at home, or lots of people just doing stuff at home, more gardening and painting and doing all these things. So we're seeing sort of quite a few increase in those types of injuries as well through that time.
Yeah, so you know, from here, I mean, the way it's set up, I mean, walking in the door and meeting such friendly staff on your counter in there, you know, like, you just felt like, wow, you know, I've never been here before, but I want to come back, and so forth. Where to from here? I mean, bigger, or opening up other areas, or adding new facilities that you can assist people with the injury hub working? Yeah,
no, we definitely got future plans. They're in their early phases, so we can't say anything just yet, but it is one of those things where watch this space, because you know, we've worked out what, I guess, the community need, and what we think is going to suit the community, and so we've definitely got plans for the future, but yeah, we're just working our way through there.
Yeah, so our exercise physiologists that we had in here for the last 3 years have just moved into their own space, which will be sort of having some physios in there as well. So they've just moved into a space in Phoenix Plaza, where the cafe used to be. So they've actually started there as of Monday this week. So yeah, things are happening, and just sort of planning for the future, and who knows what's going to happen in the future with COVID and so forth. But yeah, we're just sort of chipping away with that.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly, there's no doubt about it, it's a credit to what you've got here, and you know, for people out there that are thinking, well, you know, what is that new place just over the bridge out there at Williston? Come on in and certainly check it out, or they can go online and check these things out. But congratulations on what you've done, what you brought to Gawler. It just makes it even a better place, you know, sort of thing. Because you know, once you get older and you get those little injuries, or you slip over on a footpath that the council hadn't done up or something like that, you know, well, it's one of those things where we now can be serviced here in the town of Gawler. So thank you very much for your time, and all the very best for the business in the future.
Thank you, Sambo. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.